sick. It's a bit like rolling spliffs, but healthier, right?
Yeah.
I love it. But both of them come with apparatus.
Well, I took a video of myself doing it, and I posted it on Instagram, and people were like, "The concentration on your face is impeccable."
Oh wow!
I didn't realise. I watched it back, and I was like, "Yeah," because I was like, my eyes were like popping out of my head.
Oh my god! You do not want to split the nori though. That's a disaster.
Yeah, no,
It's
I know.
really you got to keep it.
I
Got to keep it
know,
good.
because I do it like I cut it down the middle, but on the slant, so you have two like little rolls.
Hell yeah!
It's a lot easier.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know, but it's a nice presentation there with the angle as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like two little wraps.
Yeah. If I run out of ingredients, like sometimes I just put a fish finger in the middle, and I think, well, it's kind of, no, but it's kind of like not raw. I'm not a psychopath. Not frozen.
I didn't think it was raw.
Cooked, because I figure like that's like an English ebi fry.
Yeah, I was actually going
right?
to say it's kind of like the prawn ebi
It's
fry.
like a prawn
sushi.
fry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just put that in. I don't know mayonnaise, so I might put a little bit of ketchup down the
I
middle.
do wasabi mayo.
Yeah. And but then I'm like, well, you know what? Sushi it's my sushi. It's English sushi.
I tried to do like an inside-out roll, the one where the rice is on the outside. Yeah, but I forgot that you're supposed to put cling film down on top of the rolly thing, and it just got stuck to it.
In the bin. Chuck it in the bin.
No, I ate it anyway.
Yeah. What? You ate the mat as well, the bamboo. You're not panda. What are you talking about? Lunatic. Your name's cat, not panda. Wrong animal.
I had to like peel it off in the most painstaking way. I was like, this is my lunch.
Right, well, hello, listeners. You're joining us on... hello. Hang on. Good. Hello, listeners. You're joining us on Are You Creative Podcast. Obviously, we've got a new guest in today. We are coming at you... Oh, I can't talk today. Hang on, I'm going to start again. Okay, hi, welcome to Are You Creative Podcast. We're coming at you from City Sound again in Chelmsford, Radio City. Big up Edward Macaroni, always, every week, bigging up Macaroni. Sangita, you like that, don't you?
I do. Macaroni is my favourite.
Macaroni, he's brilliant, isn't he? Like, he's cheesy radio. That's what he invented. We've got another great guest with us today. But first of all, we're going to have some funky music.
Yes.
Love that. I love it.
Yeah, so here we are again. Are You Creative Podcast with me, so-called creative expert Nick Kern, and I'm here with...
Sangita Mitra from New Generation Development Agency, and I'm not a creative.
No, but you're being a total vibes merchant today. I love it. Absolutely cracking me up today. It's amazing. I forgot an important thing. Sangita, are you creative?
I'm not creative.
Yeah,
no.
getting a little bit more every day, especially when you get in front of the microphone.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I'm getting there. Yes, I'm getting there.
You're getting there. So what do you think? Like 9.5%? You were 9% last time, I think.
Oh, God, was I that high?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 9.2. Let's go. Let's go 9.2.
9.2% creative. I love that. We've gone from 0 to 9.2. Oh, my God. What's going to happen when we get to 100%? I think you're just going to turn into a massive robot with like pencils coming out of your
I'll
hands
become
and stuff.
a creative director.
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna be like uber creative, global creative, intergalactic creative leader.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Intergalactic.
of the Federation of the whole Milky Ways.
That's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got another guest here. So Sangita, let's have a look at Kat. What do we think Kat might do for her creative practice?
Oh God, I'm so stuck with this one, Kat. Okay, now just for those that can't see, Kat does have lots of beautiful tattoos.
Okay.
So I'm going to say you're an artist or a designer. One of those two things.
You might be right. You might be a little bit right with designer, but
Okay.
also
There's an element.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's an
there's
element of
element.
truth.
Let's keep going. What sort of
What,
design?
an artist or design? So are you a bit of both?
Look at Kat's face. Look at her lovely face there. What's she got on her face?
She's got lots of
Eyes.
things. Piercings.
She's got some very
She's
beautiful
got
jewellery.
tattoos. Yeah. You do piercings.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's one
okay.
element of the job.
Okay.
So I do piercings, and then recently-ish, I have taken on another job role, which is similar but different.
Okay, well, I think we're done with guessing now.
Yeah.
Which your other job is?
I'm a jewellery designer.
Oh.
I'm a body jewellery designer for a company that I use for body jewellery.
Oh, wow.
Hang on, so you're buying your own stuff back from yourself? Hang on, how does this work? We've got an inception here, right? So you're designing stuff for the thing that you buy.
And then I buy it from them.
You buy the stuff you've designed from them,
Yeah,
and then they pay you, and then you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you use that money to buy your designs back, and then they pay you.
Yeah.
So it's just, is that what they mean, the circular economy?
Yeah.
How does it happen? Does it?
The circle of piercing
I
life.
love that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask. Kat,
Yes.
are you creative? Oh, sorry, that's too
My
Let's
ears
say, wait a second.
deaf
Let's say, yeah.
now.
Are you deaf? No. Kat. Are you listening?
Yes.
Are you creative?
Yeah.
You are-
So creative.
Okay, thank you.
Have you always been creative?
I don't know. When I was younger, yes and no. I think only when it was things that interested me and only in certain elements. But I've always been quite technically thinking, quite scientific thinking. But
Scientific. So this is like, are you applying this science in a creative way? Are you seeing how things work? Are you taking things apart, or?
Well, when it comes to piercings, there's more of like a right and a wrong way. You find out about, you have to know about how bodies work, how immune responses work and stuff like that. And then even when it comes to actually doing the piercings, I have to look at the shapes and the sizes and stuff and kind of work out what's going to work.
Hang on,
compatibility-wise.
you're blowing my mind here. You're blowing my mind. So like piercing, I just thought people just turned up and they just said pierce that. But you got, yeah, it's like fully anatomy. Like, do you have to learn about like muscle groups and things like that?
Not so. There is an element of that. So a lot of piercers, it is exactly how you say. You turn up, you say, "I want this done," and they do it.
Yeah, just whack it out on the counter,
Yeah.
and then they'll stick a ring through it.
But for people that want,
Taki, you know what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry. I've brought this down already.
Oh, no, down. I don't do anything like that.
No.
luckily.
No, that's
I'll
what we're not going to
stick to the ears and the face.
Anything below the waist, no, thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, take
Keep that away from me.
take it to the docks.
I recommend you to somebody else who will have to deal with you. No offense to people that like getting stuff like that done. To be honest, I wouldn't want to get anything like that done by myself because I don't have the experience. So I don't offer something that I don't think I could do like 100% well. I want to make sure that everything looks like it is made for that person and it's like very bespoke.
So when you think about like their face or their ear or whatever, like a bit of a canvas, and you're thinking, what can I put there and get the flow of it? How do you approach it?
I mean, I genuinely, sometimes when I'm talking to people, they will notice me looking at their ears and I look like a serial killer. Like
I would love to stick a hole in that. What? No, keep this girl away from me.
I've been on dates before and then I've like caught myself doing it. I've just been like, you have great ears. And I'm like, I sound like I'm going to steal their ears and put it in a jar.
Yeah. Do you ever say, oh, look at the septum on that?
Oh, it's a nice conch, that. Bit of that. I'd like to get my hands on that.
I love that though, because you think like, if I'm thinking about like a graffiti artist or street artist, they're just spotting these blank walls everywhere and thinking like, oh, I'd like to put something on there. You're like, you're looking at people's faces. I love it.
But it's with
You're doing the same.
With ears. So I specialise in ears and ear curations. With ears, they are actually as unique as fingerprints, so you can actually be identified by your ear print. And I think that there's so much beauty within that two people could get exactly the same piercing, exactly the same piece of jewellery, and it's always going to look completely different. But when I look at people's ears, I look for flat surfaces and shapes. So like flat curves kind of thing, and like what kind of jewellery is going to fit in that area. So I've done piercings before. I had one client who had like a point on her ear that she was really insecure about.
Well, like an elf sort of point.
Kind of. It was elf-like, but it just had a very small point on the edge of it. And I had this piece of jewellery that was almost shaped like a drawing of a bird. And that piece of jewellery, it literally fitted perfectly along that shape of that part of her
Oh my God,
ear.
this is like Cinderella.
Yeah. It was the piece of jewellery. It was made for her.
We're like, finally, I can use this.
Yeah. I literally looked at her ear and I was like, the aileron attachment is for you. And she was like, huh?
The aileron attachment is for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a real niche line.
Yeah, I know. I sounded like a weirdo.
What is an aileron?
This is the name of the attachment. I remember some of the names of the attachments because I do the...
Was it designed by Alan and Ron?
I don't. So the names. There's so many pieces of jewelry. The company releases 6 pieces a week. I haven't actually. None of my designs are really out yet, but I do the launch videos for them as well. So I have to go through the pieces of jewelry, what kind of things they're used for. So I typically remember quite a lot of the pieces of jewelry's names and then like dream about them.
Hang on.
Oh my God.
You know, if you're out and about looking at people's ears, do you dream about ears as well?
No. I actually haven't dreamt about ears, but I have dreamt about jewellery. One of my first ever jewellery designs, there's like a little succulent looking plant piece, and I made that because I dreamt about it.
Oh, wow.
And I have woken up, once I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I literally like sprang out of bed, and I was like, I need to write this down right now.
Did you? Did you write it down?
I did like a little sketch of a piece of jewellery.
Oh my God.
Because it had just popped into my head like while I was like half dreaming. So yeah, it does. It like haunts my dreams in the best way possible.
So before you actually design a jewellery with the gold or silver, you have to sketch it first?
So I just do the designing process, so just the drawing.
Okay.
And then we have manufacturers who part of my job is to speak with them, make sure that the design, like, because sometimes I do designs and they can't do certain pieces in a certain way that I want it to. So it's a lot of it is liaising with them, making compromises, making sure that they're doing everything, because a lot of the time they can try and do things in like the easier way.
Yeah. And you're like, it's
I'm
not
like-
my vision. This is my vision.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, this is very important. I dreamt it, okay? And they're like, oh no, it's another one.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Yeah. So it's a lot of speaking with them and making sure that it turns out how I want. Because they'll do computer assisted designs or drawings, and then that will kind of give me a better idea as to what it will look like. And then they usually do samples as well. So a lot of it is liaising with them and making sure that my vision is coming to life.
Yeah. So just talking about your vision, how did you actually even get around to making your first bit of jewelry? Like, were you doing sketches? You sent them off and said, "What do you think about that?"
So what it was, the company that I work for, I've worked with them quite closely for a while with like doing the launch videos and stuff, and they have sponsored artists who they'll typically release like 6 to 12 pieces of jewellery.
Yeah, Alan and Ron have got a new thing coming out. Yeah, can you do a video for them? Yeah, it's all right.
So they asked me if I wanted to be a sponsored artist and release my own collection, and there was a lot of pieces of jewellery. They do gold jewellery and they do natural stones, but they don't do gold jewellery with natural stones, so they didn't at that point. So I felt like when I buy gold, I wanted to have natural stones in it. So I wanted to do a whole range.
What's a natural stone?
So instead of a cubic zirconia is a lab grown crystal. Synthetic opal's a lab grown.
Growing on a rat's back.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it?
exactly
Yeah.
how it's done actually.
I
The
know.
rat's just like, I got an opal on my back.
Just pop that off.
Done.
There you go. Straight into the
There's my
gold.
money.
There you go. Yeah.
And then natural stones, things like amethyst, moonstone, broderite, things that just naturally occur. And I felt like there was a bit of a gap with that. So I'd had this idea and I'd said that I wanted to see more of that jewellery. So that was part of what I did. My whole collection that I initially released was with natural stones, and those pieces have been made, most of them. After that, the manufacturers that we use are based in China, and China will rip off a lot of bigger manufacturers' designs.
Oh yes,
And-
those naughty Chinese. We've
yeah.
heard about this before. Yes.
But and it's obviously it's not illegal, but it's just a lot of the companies will get really funny about it.
Yeah.
So the company didn't realise a lot of the pieces were rip-offs because there are so many pieces of jewellery. So I started helping them with working out what were dupes, and then eventually they asked me if I wanted to be the jewellery designer so that all of the designs were original pieces.
This is amazing, though. But in China, if they can like make a knockoff iPad, right?
Yeah, I know.
From Apple's designs, then I think jewelry's a bit easy. What you need to do is start designing 4-dimensional shapes, right? That they don't have the technology to do. Too complex for the human mind. But then you have to get a real specialist. They're very hard to copy.
It's crazy. Like there's so many rip-offs and stuff, and the thing is, it's not necessarily because of them. It's because there are customers that are asking them to make these copies because they don't want to pay for the bigger companies.
Yeah, but it's your dream.
It's my dream. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not their dream. It's not that Chinese person's dream. It's your dream.
It's my dream.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can you go and take them to court in your dream?
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, it would be great. And then shut them down in the dream.
Luckily,
Manifest it.
We have luckily got an agreement with our manufacturers. They don't. They're not going to sell my designs to other people.
It must be hard because I always find like if I have a creative idea, if a creative idea is really good or something, something's quite simple and perfect. Like my ideas, no, of course not. But people often say, "Well, anyone could have done that, right? Anyone could have thought of that." And it's like, yeah, after you see it, it seems obvious.
Yeah.
But to get there, the vision is the hard thing, and
it's the inspiration. Finding inspiration.
Yeah.
I mean, I find inspiration in like nature, animals, but just a lot of it is shapes. Like I often take different because I love stones. I love cuts of stones. Like one of the things that I really like to do is look at different cuts and settings of stones and seeing how they work together and how they can complement each other and the colours of stones that can complement each other. So a lot of the time when I do things, it will naturally come together like that. But you have to know like what can work.
This is from your experience because you've been doing this for 13 years. Is that right?
I've been piercing for 13 years. So that's helped me with the jewellery design because I'm trying to do pieces of jewellery for anatomies that, like where I see there's a gap in the market, like for different shapes of belly buttons and stuff.
Oh yeah,
so
amazing.
a lot of jewellery like that. So for people that have not so the typical belly button bars that you see, they don't really work for most people.
Wow.
For most people, they need something it's smaller at the bottom because most people's belly buttons collapse. Wow. So I'm trying to make more jewellery for that, and that's another.
So why do belly buttons collapse?
It's just like how people's bellies are, and that's like it's just an anatomy thing, and also most people aren't stick thin, and for a lot of people, unless you are stick thin, you'll have like tissue movement around that area.
I love this though. Like every single bit of every single person is like kind of a different canvas for you.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I love belly buttons as well. Yeah. But I think that a lot of jewellery for belly buttons isn't very inclusive. It's made for a lot of very small, like underweight people.
Does that keep it really fresh for you though? Like if you're like, oh, lift it up there, hey,
Well, it's sometimes I have to be like, sorry, you're not anatomically suitable to get this done, and that's really disappointing.
Have you had to refuse people then?
All the time.
Wow.
Literally a few people a week I turn away for certain things, but when it's a belly button, you've only got one belly button.
That's right.
At the end of the day. Sometimes people, they're not suitable for a top, but they're suitable for a bottom. They're not suitable for a bottom, they're suitable for a top.
Right.
Like the area. But for areas like ears, most of the time when people come in, they'll have a picture of a piece of jewellery in an area of the ear, and it's lovely, but their ear doesn't look like that, obviously, because nobody's ear looks exactly the same as that person's. Some very, very occasionally that piece will work for them in that area, but most of the time I'll have to say, look, this is lovely, we can use it as inspiration, but this exact kind of thing isn't going to work for you. However, this part of your ear is going to work really nicely. These are the shapes that work with it. And this will look like it's made for you. And a lot of the time they do trust me.
I love this. So it's like you've got two options, right? One, have this other ear piercing, which is going to be brilliant. Two, go to Turkey and get your ear done, like the one on the picture.
Yeah. Cut your ear off.
Cut your ear off.
Steal that woman's ear.
Yeah.
And then put it on you. Then you can have it.
I'm pretty sure they can probably do it in Turkey. I think that's what Vincent van Gogh was doing when he sent he posted his ear off. He got scammed though. They didn't send it back.
Have you not seen those plastic surgery photos from like one Turkish surgeon where it's literally like two different people?
Ears?
Oh, wow.
No, like faces.
Oh, not different ears on.
No. I wish. That's going to be my third job.
What, ear grafts?
Yeah, I don't like your ear enough. Let's make it better.
Let me fix it.
Yeah.
You can get those lab grown ears. So they grow them on a pig's back as well, like the lab grown stones. And so just choose them. Walk a pig in. It's got 100 ears on the back. Choose one of these.
Ba-da-ba.
Yeah, just carousel, walk around.
I'm no longer going to choose piercings and jewellery for somebody's ear. I'm going to make their ear for that piece.
Let's just have a look at you. I mean, that would be the ultimate lab. I love that. Like, if I go somewhere and even with like a restaurant or something, if someone recommends what you should eat, or, and then I'm like, bring it on. I love that.
Yeah.
Not just because I don't know anything about piercing.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my number one question I wanted to ask Kat. How many holes have you made?
Oh, I like that one. It's well over 10,000, 20,000.
You reckon you made 20,000 holes?
Yeah, over 13 years, yeah. It's
That's
been a lot.
amazing. How many guns have you got through? Are they called piercing guns?
So when I first started piercing, I did use guns, but piercers that have any kind of moral complex don't use guns. They're very dangerous.
Yeah, what do you pierce with now?
Needles.
Yeah.
So guns can't be sterilised. That's like the main thing. I think they do have like single use like gun kind of type things. But guns, because they use the actual earring, which is a blunt, horrible thing to do the piercing, it can create a lot of trauma. Like our bullet wound can create a lot of like back trauma. It does that as well. So it can create shatters in the cartilage.
Wow.
And
Are people getting hollow
massive
points, like
swelling.
hollow point guns, like to get a large exit wound?
What, like a hole punch?
No, like like a gangster's
Oh,
gun.
yeah, exactly
they
like
want,
that.
I want a large exit wound. There must be people that come just for like piercing for pleasure, like that sort of S&M thing as well. Because I hear about tattooists get people coming in.
I do occasionally get people that are like, I just love pain, and I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, no, you're not.
I pierce for aesthetic reasons. If somebody will get some kind of like pleasure or release from it, that's absolutely fine, but it's none of my business.
Yeah. So, back in the days when I got pierced, my earrings, I went to the chemist. I said, I want my holes done. They did it. They didn't say, they just about showed me a few different designs of earrings, and that was it. There was no conversations of, oh, well, actually, your ear is shaped this way or that way. Then when I went to get my nose done, I had that done 3 times because it closed and I kept getting it done. Once again, they didn't say that, oh, you should have this or you should have that. And that was back then. It was just like a set of jewellery. I didn't even know you could get designed. You could actually design your own bespoke jewellery. Now,
You thought it was like a stud or a ring,
I just
right?
thought
or
it was
something,
I just thought it was a standard, whatever it was. But now, when you're saying this thing about piercings, now I'm going by gun because back in them days, when I had the choice of a needle, because needle was the original way to get piercings done, that scared me because I'm needle phobic.
It sounds more scary, but it's actually way less painful.
Well, that's what I'm really shocked about because every time I think of a needle, I'm just like, oh my God, no way. A gun surely is better because it's quicker. But now that you've just made sense by saying, well, actually, they're not quite sterile. It's more sterile to use.
There's that, and also it's because it's sharper.
Yeah.
It's a much smoother process than just basically forcing something through the tissue.
Right.
It causes a lot less swelling, and it's. I've been pierced with a gun before when I was a kid,
Right.
and I just remember it throbbing tons afterwards. So yeah, it is like super quick, but that doesn't. Somebody being a quick piercer, So I was actually speaking about this the other day. Somebody talking about how quick this piercer was compared to this really slow piercer. And if you go to somebody that is super slow, then of course it is going to hurt more. But it is more about the control.
Right.
So you have no control with a gun, but with a needle you have a lot of control going through. And there's a lot of things that we do. There's something called bevel theory that we take into consideration. Like the different kinds of needles, how long the bevel is on the needle, those little things that are things that I take into consideration when I'm actually doing a piercing to make sure that it's.
I love this. So, like, when someone comes to see you, you've got your whole portfolio of tools, right? No, but it's like, like this is like proper craft.
So I don't actually. I don't really use tools at all. I only use needles. I don't. A lot of piercers use clamps.
I'm including the needle in your toolbox here.
Yeah,
I'm imagining you like a torturer. Rolling out a thing with all these needles in. I mean, sorry, it's not torture, but you know what I mean.
Come into my lair. You're gonna have a great time.
So, do you have that? Do you have like a portfolio with these needles and?
So the needles, I use like 2 sizes, 3 sizes. It's more just like when I say which needles I choose, it's like the brands that I use. So I've used different brands in the past that they weren't quite as smooth, and the needles that I use now are from a company called That's the Point, and they're really nice.
When are you going to get your own signature needle though?
I don't want to make needles.
What? No, but you've got the jewellery now.
Just with my face on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. You just look at it under a microscope and it's your face right at the end of the needle, doing that double thumbs up.
I should do a piece of jewellery like that, just like the Steve-O face
Yeah,
that he
you
got on his
should.
back.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would buy that.
I think that'd be amazing. You should put your own signature on it. Do it like those surgeons that you found that people were tattooing people's organs.
Oh
or something.
yeah. That'd be a great idea.
But I think that's so interesting. So but you've got your own studio piercings by Cat. You've got your own jewelry. What's it called? Jewelry
So
podcast.
the jewelry, I work for a company called Quality Eye, who I've known the owner Lily for a really, really long time. So she's a friend of mine too now. But yeah, it's a female owned and female run company mostly, which is like a really nice thing to support as well.
And you've got your amazing studio, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
the studio is called the Interbellum Tattoos. So it's not my studio. I would never want to run a brick and mortar business.
Yeah,
That's
but
just
you've
way
got,
too much
you
stress.
got your little cat zone, right?
I've got my own horrible
Where are
pink
you
room.
based? Here in Chelmsford?
No, so we're in Shopgate in Wickford.
Oh, okay.
I worked out of Billericay before, but I'm in Shopgate in Wickford now. Work with a really lovely team of people.
That's so cool. And they do tattoos there as well, or is it all body piercing?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 tattooists and 1 apprentice.
Oh, amazing. So if the shop's quiet, do you just sort of go around to each other's benches and be like, go and do us a tattoo or do us a piercing?
Sometimes people will do that, yeah, but a lot of the time it's just like working, like the amount of work outside of work is astronomical. Like just replying to clients takes up so much time.
Yeah, I suppose if you're curating the ears, like thinking about multiple piercings and how they all sit together, people are going to be really particular about it. And if they're coming to you because they care,
yeah,
not just, like, what's the place that people used to go when they were kids and get their kids' ears pierced, not H. Samuels or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
there's
or whatever. Was it Claire's Accessories or something like that? Like if someone's coming to you, they've probably found you online and they're like, actually, the cat's the best.
Yeah, they're coming to me for me, which is really nice. And I think I get told a lot of people they come to me because I turn people away.
Amazing.
Which is like, it's really nice because I think people know that I'm not in it for I'm a terrible business person. Yeah. I'm a good piercer. I'm a terrible business person. I've never been in it for the money. It's not very lucrative anyway.
No, what we're learning here is you're like the Berghain of piercing.
Who's that?
Berghein's that club in Berlin where they.
I like that.
You have to go through the interview process, and then you're like, no, your ear is not for cat.
No, I can do something for anyone. Like everybody is welcome. And yeah, I can usually find, like, the only thing is my jewellery is more expensive than other piercers.
Right.
And my piercing fee is maybe slightly more expensive than other piercers.
But then they're getting the 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's mainly the jewellery that they're paying extra for, though, because it costs me so much more. And I actually put a smaller markup on that jewellery compared to when I used rubbish jewellery.
Yeah.
And I used to put a 10 times markup on it, and now I only put a 3 times markup on it. So my profit margins are actually smaller.
Sorry, you're talking about numbers. I just switched off.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That's all right. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Can you save this for Undercover CEO, right? Yeah. All this talking about profits and stuff. We're talking. Do you notice like trends in piercing? Like, are people like coming asking for different things? What's hot right now?
So a lot of it is ear piercings now. A lot of celebrities, if you see them on, like, what are those things they do? Premieres. That's it.
Yeah, on the red carpet.
Yeah.
A red carpet.
A lot of the time you'll see that they've got piercings done. They've got these, like, beautiful piercings done. And they're, like, a lot of ear piercings are becoming quite popular now because of that, because they see celebrities with it.
So this is why, you're seeing a lot of celebrities turning their ears towards the camera for their photos, are they?
Just like...
Yeah, so just get me from the left. Get me from the left, yeah. Just get closer to the ear. I'm being the picture editor. I think that's Timothy Chalamet.
We say that. I do recognise people by their ears.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I'm really bad with faces. I can be really bad with faces.
But not with ears.
Yeah, because I remember the thoughts that go into like making that and like the jewellery that I chose, and then I'm like, oh, you're that ear.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's amazing.
It's like a beautiful mind, but for ears, a beautiful ear.
I've also been told that people recognise my work out in the wild because of the kind of style of piercings that I do, and like a lot of the way that I lay things out is quite like signature.
This is incredible though, because it's really, it's really hard as like, as a body piercer or ear piercer, to have your own style that people can recognise.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was the biggest compliment I've had.
That is the dream. So people are going to start coming to you specifically for what you do.
Yeah.
Or they do already.
Obviously. Yeah, they do, yeah. What's going to be really nice is when the jewellery that I've designed has come out, that I'll be able to be... Basically, I would have designed everything from start to finish.
Yeah.
So I would have designed, like, the piece of jewellery and then chosen the place that it's actually going into.
Amazing.
And use the needle with your face on the end of it.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah. What, have you given your jewellery names?
Yeah, so some of
What they call Dreamy One.
my first collection, my spot, the one
Eros too.
Eros, yeah. Eros. I call this one Eros. I love that.
Consummate Consciousn.
Consciousn, Eros Consciousn. Hello, pleased to meet you.
Consciousn, yeah. So the
Sorry. I'm just imagining Eros like, and it's not. It's actually an ear, but with a bow and arrow. And it's like, why have you got a little piercing of an ear with a bow and arrow?
I was actually thinking of doing just an ear to go on people's ears, and then it could be like earception.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Or like Mr. Potato Head stuff, like a
Yeah,
like, you
but
know.
now I've said it, somebody's going to steal my idea.
Quick, you'll have to cut that bit out.
I'm not going there. I'm going to go and do it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Alibaba in China as soon as I get home.
Alibaba
no.
in China.
Yeah, have you not been on there? That's where you can buy the knockoffs of your jewellery.
Oh, yeah,
Come on, tell us about Eros.
I named it. It was really nice. I named it after like the closest people in my life. So they're all the
Cat 1,
cat.
2.
That's all me. I love myself. So the succulent one that I told you that I dreamt about, that's named after my friend Lorraine. She like basically held me together after I had a really horrible period of my life and helped me grow. So I was like, "You're a plant."
Friends, jewellery friends. friends. Come and play with me at work, jewellery friends.
Yeah, so, but the next lot of them are just going to be like random things. I named.
Yeah, what about Nick? Nick's a good name. Sangita's a good name.
I'll think of that. Yeah. I like that. I've named a couple of pieces. There was like some cat pieces that they asked me to name, and I was like, Pawsome.
Pawsome is a great name.
Yeah, we like that.
Awesome, I love that.
Unbelievable.
Right, I think we're going to have to look at Sangita's ears now, right? Because you're talking about your ear curation. Sangita, could you remove your headphones, please? Here they come. Here come the ears. Well, so what are you saying when you look at Sangita's ears?
I need to see closer.
So Sangita is now presenting her ear, her left ear.
You face me, and then just like...
Getting all a bit rustly now. Let's have a look at Sangita's ears. She's got some holes that have been underutilised there, I see. Some old holes.
She has a good conch for piercing.
Yeah.
The top of her ear is quite small. There's not like an awful lot of flat space, but you can put that's where I would put more accent pieces. But then the conch, which is like the inside part of your ear,
the earception.
Yeah.
The first bit of earception. Yeah.
That would support like a curve or a cluster kind of shape of jewellery or a Daith piercing. This is going to make no sense to you though unless you see pictures.
No.
Well, I tend to design ears or curate ears by doing statement pieces surrounded by accent pieces. So usually a conch or a Daith piercing, they're what I consider to be like statement pieces.
We got so technical here. What is a Daith?
A Daith, a lot of people know them as the migraine piercing. Dave. A lot of people know them as the migraine piercing because they think it'll cure migraines.
What is it? But where is it? Tell me in the ear. Don't point because it's audio only. It's the hole. Oh, it's the back of the hole.
How do I describe this?
Well, you know, it's kind of like the Daith.
If you look at an ear and then you look at the bit in the middle, the big bowl-shaped part in the middle, there's like a ring that goes inside the ear, kind of thing. Mm. You just how many different names of bits of the ear are there? I don't even know. I don't even like the names that people give for piercings. I'm just like that bit. Yeah, because a lot of piercings that I do,
that bit over there.
Want to do that one? a lot of piercings that I do, they tend to be like halfway between piercings. So a piercing that I do quite regularly, we call it a Snochs piercing. That was a term coined. It was a term coined by a guy called Joltron, who's a piercer from Australia, and it's kind of a snug piercing and kind of a conch piercing. So we called it a Snochs. I love the Snochs.
Wow.
What is this? What is even? Where's the Snochs?
I'm just gonna have to. We're gonna have to put like a diagram of an ear.
We're not. Here. Use your words. Tell me where a Snochs is.
Snochs.
Tell me where a Snochs is.
What that Snochs do?
Where is the Snochs? What is even? Where's the conch? Where's the Schnarvel? Where's the Schnarvel you're talking about? I don't know.
What are you saying? you okay?
Schnarvel is actually a Dutch a bill from a duck in Dutch. It's a good name.
Is it actually?
Yeah. It's onomatopoeic. Yeah, Schnarvel.
Well, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my
But where's
life.
the schnunch?
So it's like the flat part of the ear at the top, where that kind of curves into the conch, which is the bowl part of the ear. There's sometimes like a bit of a flat space, somewhat towards the outside. This is really hard to describe an ear without using pictures.
I know. Yeah, you're at the moment. Kat's actually using her hands like a mime to make a really like a massive ear. Like imagine if she was Ratatouille, like the mouse rat in the guy's hat, like with her little hands touching his ear. That's what she's like. She's like, oh, here it is. This is Schnunch is here. The Dave is here.
Right, firstly, I don't talk like that. And secondly, don't bring my tiny little rat hands into this.
They're really good for piercing. They're so
They are.
nimble. Can I show you my ear now?
Yeah?
Okay, don't say it.
Get your ear out.
Don't say it's hairy. Okay. It's very well groomed.
You shave your ear.
Have you ever had a hairy ear?
Turn your ear towards me. Okay, so you've got a great tragus. That's the bit that's next to your face, and you've got a great daith on this side. That
Only on
side's
one
rubbish.
side.
Hang on, I've got a great Tragus.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn profile.
please.
Yeah, Nick, creative director. Actually, great Tragus. Yeah, I think you're
10 out of
right.
10 tragus game.
Yeah.
If anybody was asking.
I love that, but only on one side.
Yeah,
Only on one side.
Ah,
Sorry, mate.
Yes, just
See,
on the
it's not
left.
Work on the other
them-
one.
So basically, I should have all my photos taken from the left now.
Yeah,
I'd
and
be
just
like,
be like, look at my tragus.
Guys, can you just make sure you look like my Tragus?
Can you get my tragus in this?
in there?
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the things I realised from doing piercings is that I have a gigantic daith. It's like out of this world large.
Would you ever be
Sounds like a
brave enough
euphemism, doesn't it?
to do your own piercing?
I have done my own piercings.
you?
I've done I did the bridge of my nose before, and I've done a few like on my earlobes and on the flat of my ear. The jewellery company sent me this little gold cat face piece of jewellery, just like
Oh, wow.
randomly
Your
within an
signature.
order.
Yeah.
And they were like, I think you'd like this. So I just had to put it somewhere. I had nowhere that it would go already, so I had to do a piercing.
What was the first piercing you did? And like, how did you know this is what you want to do? Like, were you like piercing your teddy bears or like into that sort of stuff? Why did you choose this creative journey?
I wanted to do piercing since I was 14. I remember when I was like 14, we had that conversation in school where they were like, what do you want to do when you're older? And I was like, I want to be a piercer. And they were like, give up that dream.
It's not that's not a real job.
Yeah. And my mum was always really supportive of it, which
Brilliant.
was great. I was really lucky with that. And it is really hard to get into, but I used to just like, I would get pierced, I would research things, I would like, there was this old website called BME Zine, which would have like all information about piercings and body mods, but it was so different back then because you didn't have all of this jewelry. It was just heavy duty kind of looking stuff, and it was just like these big impressive like large gauge piercings and like kind of scary looking stuff. But it was the actual piercing that really interested me back then. It wasn't as creative, it was more technical. But I loved learning about that, and there was so much to learn. I kind of, when I first started piercing, I thought it was like, what this size works for this piercing, and I didn't really take into consideration that people's bodies were like also different and stuff, and I didn't actually really understand that until probably about 3 years into my career, because when I first learned, I didn't have like, I had an apprenticeship kind of, but I was learning at the same time.
How did you get your first seat? You know, it's just like, oh yeah, me and my mates were drunk at a party and we all pierced our ears, and they were like, yeah.
I had pierced a couple of my friends at home, which wasn't great, but I'd ordered sterile stuff off of the internet.
Yeah, vodka.
No.
I know.
I ordered sterile jewelry and sterile needles, but I ended up bugging this shop, and they kind of like took me on initially as an apprentice, but then the piercer left. But the boss, the guy who owned the shop, also did piercing, so he kind of taught me, but it wasn't as thorough as I would have liked. It was like trying to learn by myself in a way.
And this is before YouTube and stuff like this, right? Is it like...
I learned a lot through other piercers. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't for the piercers that I know in the industry who would just, like, give me knowledge, 100% I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I do try and, like, help piercers where I can now.
It's really interesting because you're talking about when you started and it was really, like, large gauge. And I remember all this time, like, Jim Rose Circus and stuff like that, where people were like, oh, I've got, like, a 1-inch thick bar through my nose and
exactly.
stuff. And it feels like a lot of stuff now that's come from this aesthetic beauty is like almost feels a bit more like sort of international. I'm just sort of looking at your septum here.
Yeah.
I know loads of words like tragus and septum and Daith, but this almost feels like more like Indonesian or like
there's so a lot of jewelry. A lot of jewelry designers, they gain inspiration from particularly like Indian jewelry, which is like stunning. But like jewelry all over the world, even like Mayan jewelry, you can look back into like pictures, not like pictures, but like drawings and stuff from around those periods of times, and everybody wore jewelry. Like jewelry is just such a timeless thing, and you can gain inspiration from anything. But I do think it is important to like kind of pay tribute to that as well. There's been times that I know that some piercers, like I had clients that have brought their own jewelry from India, and they wanted me to put it in. And that's one thing that I've had to like learn a lot about how to use that Indian jewelry, because it works very differently, and because the carat of the gold is so much higher, it's a lot easier to break.
You heard it here. The Indian jewelry is better than the Chinese jewelry.
It's a lot easier to break.
Yeah, exactly. Another little bit of gold there in Kat's pocket. Yeah, thank you. That just snapped off. Yeah, that's so easy.
Melt that down. So it's just like paying tribute to those cultures as well that actually really gave us this industry. I take inspiration from things, but I don't copy anything. I do.
It's in the dream. You can't tell yourself not to copy in a dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's dream. It's OG.
But I have designed pieces that have been like without even intending, that have been super similar to other pieces. But it's certain, like sometimes you put two stone cuts next to each other and it can't really be helped.
Hey, look, there's 8 billion brains on Earth, right? It's so difficult to have an individual, unique thought, and then often you'll find something that someone's done very similar.
Exactly.
Just a very quick one, because I'm really fascinated. Your tattoos. Were they different artists, or is there one particular artist?
They're all by different people. I've met a lot of people in the industry. Obviously, I've worked in shops and stuff, but I go to different people for different styles.
Amazing.
A lot of the time, I'll give them like a really vague idea because I just want their work.
Amazing.
I've got to tell you, listeners, because you can't see this, but Kat looks absolutely amazing. Her arms are covered in tattoos. Her legs, her face, not covered, but
Yeah.
The middle.
I've got little ones on my face that I could hide.
It's like you got a hoodie, like a tattoo hoodie on.
If I put my hair over my face,
just with your face poking out. I mean, really, it's not the sort of tattoos you could hide from your mum and pretend you haven't got a tattoo.
No, luckily my mum loved them, so
they do look amazing.
Thank you so much.
Really interesting.
Brilliant guest.
Thank you. I'm the Archbishop of Banterbury.
Exactly. But it's so interesting because a lot of people won't think about the creativity that goes into this. Like I know from friends that are tattoo artists, they get so many people just coming in. Can you do the Chelsea crest? I want West Ham hammers, or drunk, and they're just like, I don't know, Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
So like to think about the artistry and the curation, and what's the furthest someone's travelled for piercings by you?
I had somebody that came from somewhere near Wales the other day.
Wow. Destination international. Yeah. Wow. So you've had international guests.
Well, no, I haven't. I had somebody from France, but she didn't specifically come for me. She wanted to come on holiday to England anyway, but she wanted to make seeing me part of the trip.
Yeah, and then you turned her away because her ear wasn't right.
I was like,
no, not for Kat. Sorry, not today.
But I do get quite a lot of people from like kind of 3-4 hours away. One of my favourite clients, a lady called Claire, she always wanted to come to me. When she came to me, she had nothing on her ears. So I do this thing called digital curation, where I'll like edit pictures of jewelry onto people's ears. So they send me pictures of their ears, and then I edit jewelry on. So that because she lived so far away, so she wanted to like plan her ears beforehand. And then she came for 2 different appointments because she wanted to get her ears pierced and healed for her wedding, which was a huge honour. She sent me pictures of her wedding day with her ears in all the photos, and that was just such a nice thing to see.
Oh, the photographer is like, can you just get the groom out of the photo? just get my stratagem. What's it called? What's my stragum?
Stragum?
Yeah.
Tragus?
Get my stragus in there. Yeah, like...
No, I was in cahoots with the photographer. I was like, ears only. We don't want no men in this.
No grooms, unless the groom's got his ears done as well. Unless he's got a really impressive great stragus.
What is a stragus?
I don't know, what is it called?
Tragus. You're thinking of a snoogan.
I'm thinking of a Schnarvel. I'm thinking of the Schnarvel area. Thank you very much, Kat, for coming on and talking to us.
Everyone.
You are everyone, everything. Sangita, What do you think about this?
I think this was amazing. I'm scared of needles, and I don't do piercings because I've done them and they hurt. But if I were to do this again, and if I were to go for my nose again, I'm coming to you, and I'm actually gonna try a needle instead of a gun.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly,
that's what
how I feel.
It's nice to restore people's faith within the piercing world.
You're not restoring people's faces.
I am restoring.
That's why I want to. That's why I want my nose
You get
done.
renovations.
Yeah, I'm not
Facial renovations.
restoring your faith, not your face.
Yeah. So, I think I'm going to go and get my great Tragus done as well now, and my Schnarvel. So, thank you for listening to Are You Creative? Sangita, what's our Instagram? R.U.creative.podcast. No dot. Yeah, and you follow us there, and you can find out about new episodes. You can like and subscribe and all that stuff, like 5 stars, thumbs up, great Tragus, anything you want to give us on any of the podcast things. Suggest guests as well and send in questions and things like that. Thank you very much to City Sound for letting us use their space, and Paul, as always. Thank you very much to NGDA and Jaden, the Rag Enforcer.
He got me a soul.
There he is. Thank you to Essex County Council for supplying the equipment as well. And I think that's it, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah, should we say bye-bye?
Bye-bye for a little while.
Can't Cat say bye?
Bye. It's me. Bye.
Great Tragus.
Oh,